Hey, back again.
Well, hello there. Hold on.
Hello. Long time no talk.
Seriously? I know. Seriously, I'm like,
You
that's
know, we're
amazing.
we're definitely giving our listeners a bang for their buck today. It's
Yeah, part
honestly,
three.
I think we kind of needed it because we've it's been a minute since we've had a chance to get back together and talk on all of these subjects, honestly.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
kind of needed to cover a whole bunch of bases. And I think the last month, apart from our last recording, we kind of learned quite a bit. I know I did. Uh,
yeah,
so I think that we're kind of needing to get back together at this point and talk about all of it. You know,
yeah,
so
absolutely.
I think everything happens for a reason, and so maybe today we were meant to have a three part. Maybe it'll turn into a four-part. Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, exactly. It's like,
But I'm open. I'm open to whatever happens, and I'm totally grateful to be here. So.
me too, honestly. I was pulling up that phrase that I was like, because our relationships have been going through it lately. And if we're going through it, more than likely, the collective is going through it or will be going through it. So,
I find that I go
I,
through things first, and then I
yep.
notice that the collective goes through them, afterwards.
Exactly. So the phrase I was trying to say, I made a meme the other day, and it said, sometimes you have to be ripped apart so God can put you together,
Yeah.
back together the right way.
Yeah.
And I got that download, and I was like, you're right. I said,
Yeah.
because that's
Oh, I'm
how
getting
it
chills.
feels.
I have chills going down my legs right now. There's just
What?
confirmation, confirmation, confirmation. Oh my
Big
gosh.
time. We have to be ripped apart so that God
Yes.
can put us back together the right
Because
way.
we've been stitched together incorrectly by our programming,
By programming, by our parents,
by
by our
everything that this world has had to offer. It's put us
society,
together the wrong way. And
by
not that we are wrong, but that we're just a puzzle that's been assembled the wrong way. And all we need to do is allow ourselves to be taken apart and
and it
put back
hurts.
together in a
Gonna
beautiful way.
fucking hurt people. It's gonna fucking hurt
Of
people.
course.
And but honor yourself, and allow yourself. Like I've learned so much. Just allow yourself to hurt because
Yes.
that's how you open your heart.
I mean,
That's
the
how
most painful experience I've had has always led me to the most healing, and I have to go
yep.
through it. I mean, just this
Hmm.
last month, I've gone through so much emotionally with my anxiety and my
Yeah.
depression, and
Yep.
I had to, I think the last 6 months I've been very depressed, and I think it really starts when it gets cold outside. And I don't want to say 6 months, since September. When it gets
Hmm.
cold outside, I start to get into a depression. I have that seasonal defective whatever. I had that diagnosis given to me, which I don't associate with diagnoses. I don't, I don't
Right.
claim them, but that's been assigned to me. That's been labeled on me. So I do acknowledge that when it gets cold outside, I do kind of go into a little bit of a funk, because me and the sun are, we're one.
Yeah.
The sun is my deity. The
Hmm.
sun is my
Hmm.
my counterpart. If we're talking about divine counterparts, the sun is my
That's funny that you say that
completely.
because when I was teaching, and this is how I'm going to teach people who don't have a relationship with God or don't acknowledge God or have an inability to acknowledge God. Look, all you have to do is believe in the power that makes the sun come up every single day.
Yeah,
And believe in that power. Believe that power. That sun's going to come up in the fucking morning no matter what you do.
yeah.
That sun's going to go down at night no matter what you fucking do.
The day
You
that
can
sun
trust
comes,
that
is
power,
that's gonna be a bad day.
that no shit, but that power, the power, the energy, whatever you want to call it, that makes the sun come up every single day and go down every night. You can believe in that power
Yeah.
right there.
That's the
Boom.
same power as love for me,
That's
and
getting
it's
out of
I
yourself.
feel so much love from the sun. It heals me. I mean, and when the seasons change, I think in September, when we have, the fall equinox or solstice, whatever it is, the autumnal equinox. Um, I literally feel a shift when almost like I'm reliving the whole Persephone going into the underworld
Yeah.
thing. Um,
Yeah. Like going into hibernation,
yeah.
right?
Like I
Yeah.
feel myself going into the underworld and that loss and that pain, and I'm living it, like literally feeling the sun drawing away from me. And
Yeah.
I go into a depression, and I start getting down. I don't go outside as much. I stop
Mhm.
hiking. I hibernate. I literally go into hibernation mode. And so the last couple of months have been me realizing that it's time to come out of that it is
Yeah.
what it is. The sun is not as close to me as it normally is. And yes, it hurts my heart, but it's still there. I can still see it.
Yep.
It might be further away, but I have the choice whether I want to hibernate and stay in my sadness or whether I want to get out of it. And so the sickness, all of the stuff that I've been going through has been drawing me out of that hibernation mode. And man,
Yeah.
it's been tough, but I've had to go through all of this pain to remember who I am
Yep.
again, to
Yeah.
remember all of it and
Yep.
have my memories completely come back to me where I'm like, holy shit, that can't be true. Like, what?
Yeah,
Oh my
but in the
God. I'm like,
meantime, right, while we're going through this, the entire time we're trying to wake up, our DNA is getting activated, our remembering is coming through, we're remembering our dreams, we're learning our abilities and remembering who we are, where we come from. The entire time we're getting programmed, black magic sent to us,
oh my gosh. Oh my
injections,
gosh.
um,
I've had to put
there's
so much
poison in
protection
the
in.
air, in the
I've
food.
I've had to protect, like literally going around my house, just like planting salt everywhere, and then remembering that salt is just clearing. Salt is not
Just like they
stopping.
don't understand, especially people, just laymen, normal human beings do not understand that TVs can be a portal, that,
Yeah, I've had
our
to go and I've had to put
radios can
symbols,
be a portal.
and I've had to put sigils on every portal in my house, whether it's just a reflective surface. Reflective
Yeah,
surfaces can be a portal because they are. I mean, anything
yeah,
that is reflective can be used as scrying, and if somebody can
yeah,
use a scrying device outside of here, they can portal into
yeah,
my scrying device in here. So I've had to go around and put sigils on every single reflective surface in my house as a way of protection to remind,
yeah,
to refresh everything. And I have to do that
yeah.
regularly.
Yeah,
Um,
honestly, that's just something that, and this is the part where I don't want to go too deep into it today because it's such a good subject to talk about is,
yeah,
magic, magic is real. It's just
yeah,
science and it's
yeah,
been used against us for decades. But unfortunately, because they make it seem like it's, people, magic's not real. It's just movies, it's theater,
yeah.
it's not,
Just kid stuff. You grow
uh,
out of it.
yeah,
It's
it's
unicorns
not
and
real,
rainbows and
but it is
fairies.
real.
But I've
And they're
seen it.
using it against you every single day.
Yeah. And I've seen all of it. I've seen the darkness and I've seen the
Yeah.
light side of it. I mean, because there's
Yeah.
a scary world. I'm glad, honestly, that we can't see everything all the
And for
time.
all the doubters out there, I want you to remember that the haters, they're the ones that have all the money. I mean, they can spend trillions of dollars to keep you all asleep. We can't. So, I mean, just believe what you want.
Yeah, I don't.
It's up to you.
I'm not here to convince anybody. I don't
Nope.
care what anybody
Don't
believes.
care.
As
I,
far as I'm concerned, this is just my
yeah.
experience. I've
This
seen
is for
what's out
people that
there.
we resonate with,
Yeah,
and this is to put ourselves out there so that we can gain our soul
yeah,
tribe and people that resonate with us and
yeah,
who want us around because we have plenty of experience being around people who don't want us around and don't want
yeah,
to hear our story. So we're doing it differently. We're putting our story out there first, and we're not asking, and we're just going
yeah.
to put it out there.
No, I
And
mean,
if anyone
if
doesn't
anybody
like it,
resonates and wants
yeah,
to
go ahead.
us or be on our journey with us, then come on
More than
aboard.
welcome to come
We're more than
along,
happy
and
to have people that have been
we're
through it
happy to
too.
have you.
And if it
Yeah,
doesn't resonate and we sound like lunatics, then good. We're
that's
not
fine.
for
It's not
you.
for
You
you.
know,
We're not here for you. And
that's
that's what I had to learn too, is I'm
yeah,
not here for everybody.
that's
And
what
truly, I'm not here to save anybody. I'm
I
only here to
know.
save myself,
That's
you
what I love
know.
about like Paul White Gold Eagle, my husband. Every time I turn him on,
Mhm.
my daughter and my husband are like, "Oh my God, turn him off! It makes
Can't
my
handle it. His vibes are so
uh,
amazing and beautiful.
his resonance. The first time I
Mhm.
heard his voice, it spoke to my heart and woke me the fuck up."
Oh my
So
God, Daniel Scranton, because he
yes,
all at the beginning of
yes.
his
Oh my gosh,
downloads, he
yes.
always does the vocaling, and some people would think that, oh my God, that's so crazy, but
Yes, giving
no.
voice to the what is it?
Mm,
Giving voice to the ages, or something like that. that channel on YouTube, giving voice to the, or something. So I can't remember
I
the
can't remember,
exact,
but
but yeah, that
beautiful.
Cryon and Paul White Gold Eagle, when I first woke up,
Yeah.
were like, they just spoke to me. And like
Yes.
when I first heard Cryon say, "Light workers, I'm talking to you. I'm
Old
talking to you," and
souls.
I'm
Oh
like, "You're
man.
fucking talking to me. You are talking through that
The
TV and
Lightworkers
talking
Handbook.
to me." And I'm like, "Holy
If
crap!"
you haven't heard it, you guys go on YouTube and look for the Lightworkers Handbook by Cryon, and it's on YouTube, and it's basically a book that's read aloud, and it's free for
Yeah.
everybody. And I
Oh, I
highly
love
recommend
Cryon.
it because it's like home to
Yeah.
me. It's home to me. That
Cryon. I mean, I've
is
actually
home.
channeled Cryon through myself, like
You
on
can,
time.
and crying will come
Yeah.
to anybody. Just like,
Yeah.
and that's the thing you guys have to understand is it's
It's
your
yeah.
intention
We're just
that is
vehicles. We're just
important.
vessels, and anything that
Mhm.
if we clear ourselves out completely, we can be open to
But
anything.
we do need to
And
realize we need to raise ourselves up to match
yes,
their frequency. They're not going to
yes,
lower their frequency to reach you. You
yeah.
got to reach up to
That's
them,
that's what I was just
and
going to
they
say. That
will,
we can clean ourselves out and be open to negative
and they'll
DMs.
take your
Oh,
hand. You reach up,
yeah.
reach your hand above your hand, and just say, please take my hand, and they will take your hand. They
Oh
are
my gosh.
always there for you.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Anytime. And that brings me, when you just talked about reach my hand or taking my hand, that brings me to my near death experience
Mm-hmm.
and my experience with Yeshua and being brought out of the darkness. And every time now I say, Jesus or Yeshua, however I address him, it's always the particulars of how to it's just, I'm calling him. I don't know the
Yeah,
name,
yeah.
but anytime I ask him to just hold my hand, Sananda, or
It's just a label. It's a
it's,
label,
I
and
know,
so
and I
it
can't,
doesn't matter.
sometimes I get caught on that name, like even
We
saying
too, me
God
too.
or the spirit
I
or the
have,
great spirit of the universe. Like, I don't know what to freaking call these things.
that's what I
You just,
say. I don't
whatever you
really do
are,
names. Like
whatever you are
Elizabeth
that's above me,
April.
that's out there, that's bigger than me, come
Yeah.
to me,
Yeah,
help me
and like
out.
I said, Elizabeth April, she could download from specific like a GFL members and such. And oh, about the GFL, there has been a lot of misinformation out there. So if the Galactic Federation of Light doesn't resonate with you, that's fine. Just skip
Yeah.
this part. It doesn't
I've
resonate
heard
for
that
everyone.
recently too, that it's been infiltrated.
Well, it's not that they've been infiltrated, it's that they have been misjudged. Like, what am I trying to say? They've
Misguided.
they're part of the misinformation project, okay? Because
Uh,
they have the GFL has actually been a part of our awakening. A lot of us are from the
yeah, me
GFL.
too.
We're team members. I am one of those team members on the ground. Um, but it's not anything special. There's a lot of us, I'm not special. Let me just put it that way. A lot of us are there. Okay, a
Well,
lot of
like
us
we're
are.
special, but we're not special. Just like everybody's special, but nobody's special.
Everybody has the ability to tap in.
Yeah.
Everybody has the ability to do this. Everybody has
And I
psychic
remember
abilities.
that night that I had my initiation, and they came to me
Yeah.
and they asked me certain
My
questions.
initiation,
That's
that's my
that's
bit.
there were certain questions that
Mhm,
were asked.
mhm.
Do you want this glory in your lifetime, or do you want it for your children? And my answer was, I want it for my children. I don't care about myself. It's not about me. It's about the next generation. It's about the future. And that those were the kind of things that I was asked.
Mhm.
Are you self-seeking? And it really, just to find out, it was just about power. Am I on a
Yeah.
power trip to use my powers to be harmful to others and to keep them for myself? Or
Yeah.
are my intentions to help others?
Yep.
And that's been my goal. Is my intention is to help everyone else. I could
Yeah, I've
care
never been
less.
able to just help myself. Every time I turn around, I'm always trying to see how I can help the
Yeah.
next person.
I could care
It's
less about my glory or my richness
right.
or,
That's the thing.
or rising to fame. I don't give
But
a
we have
shit
to,
about any of that.
I do, but you have to listen. I just learned a lesson about that too, because I am a humble person.
Mhm.
I don't like being in the limelight. So that is something that I have to personally overcome.
Oh, you're cutting out. Oh, I think I lost you again. All right, well, on to part 4, I think. I don't know if you can hear me. Okay, I'm back.
Okay,
Sorry about that.
that's okay. This is what, segment 4?
Segment 4. Well, the last one was a
Episode
little
3.
short, but I think we were a little out there on the last segment anyway, so maybe we just needed to come back and rein ourselves in a little bit.
That's okay, because we're gonna get into it anyways. But I don't know. I'm just gonna feel into the energy and see if there's anything else that needs to come up before we get this posted. I just feel like if you're in a relationship, and you don't know whether to stick it out or not, you can go to their higher self, you
Yes.
can go into meditation and go into their higher self. I would never recommend anybody staying in an abusive relationship or staying in a relationship where they're putting their hands on you or actively abusing you, ever. I would never say that. I would say get out of it, regardless of what your inner guidance is saying, because you need to take care of yourself first and foremost. Um, but if you're like us, where you have a history,
Well, I mean,
you
even my husband and I have had
trust
a
it.
history of physical violence in our past,
Yeah, us
but
too. Yeah,
we've had to honestly come to terms with that and work through it together because
yeah,
it's not been just him. We both put our hands on each other in the past. And
same.
it had a lot to do with drugs and alcohol and not being our authentic selves, but we've had to forgive ourselves and forgive each other. But if that's currently
Got to.
happening, you need to separate. That's not a
Or
healthy
get
environment for anybody. It's
get it under control, because
yeah,
there's tools. Do you have tools, whether you have been taught them or not. There are tools that you can use in
mm,
a situation like that, instead of having to lay hands. Laying hands is, I would say, and we have done the same. He's thrown phones at me. He's put his hands around my neck. I've hit him. I've ripped his shirt. I mean, we've had literal boxing matches.
yes,
And I don't recommend that to anybody. My path isn't for everybody either. Most people that go through my kind of trauma don't make it out alive. They they
yeah.
don't make it out of there.
No, I mean that only the strong
Childhood wounding.
survive what we've been through. Honestly,
Yeah.
the
So don't.
the depths that I've been through and that I've had to go through
Yeah,
are not they're not for the weak.
they're not.
I'm not
It's for
touting,
normal
I'm not like
people.
honking my own horn saying that, I'm better than anybody. That's not what
No,
I'm
it's
saying.
part of our
It's
initiation.
just I've had
It's
to
part of
go
our
through
initiation.
the darkest of the dark to come into the lightest of the light, and it's
Yeah,
not everyone's path.
yeah.
This is not a path I would wish for anyone. To have to go through.
And
But
also keep in
we
mind
all
that
make these choices before we come here. We all
it's
make these
also part of our
agreements.
lives too. See, and that you got to come to terms with. Yes, there are past lives. Yes,
Yes. Well, and
there is.
I've had to burn off so much karma. I know in this life I've worked through so
Well,
much
we've had to work
karma from
overtime
past
because
lives.
our souls knew that this was the time that we were
Yes.
going to be ascending the most. And so we had no choice but to get that as much done. And
Yes.
that's why we feel like we've had multiple lives
I
in this
have.
life.
This
Yeah, me
lifetime
too.
has been
Me
like
too.
1,000 lifetimes,
Yeah.
and I wonder whether time really exists or not, whether I'm just in this little pressure cooker and I'm thinking all this stuff on the outside is actually happening, and it's just me in my little house and my little
Mhm.
world, and it's been
Yeah.
happening for 1,000 years, and I've been allowed this time to look, to work through it, and I'm
Yeah.
just
You never
thinking
know.
that I'm in this reality when this reality could maybe it doesn't even exist. I
Yeah.
probably
I
sound
mean,
like
it
a
is
really
the
crazy
hologram.
person
No.
right now, but
But
sometimes I
holograms are
think that.
real. Your
Sometimes
imagination
I
is
think that
real.
we're all
Yeah.
just in these little bubbles and we all think that this stuff on the outside is going on and really we're just meant to be in this situation and work out our karma and then when it's done then what? I don't know. Is this 1,000 years of
I don't know.
peace
I've never,
meant to
we
be?
haven't experienced that yet. And see, that's the
I know.
part that everybody is like so afraid, and we have so much fear about it, and because we're afraid of the unknown. But the best thing is that we are learning how to accept that we don't know the outcome and
Yeah.
we don't know what's going to happen, but we know that it's for the best case scenario. And we
Yeah.
have to know that because that's the truth.
Oh, I
The truth
believe that
is
there's something
only the best
amazing
case
around the
scenario.
corner. There
Yeah.
has to be. You know, all of this has been for something. Whether
Whatever
it's
it
in
is,
the
and
next
also look
lifetime,
forward
whether
to
it's in this
yeah.
lifetime, you know, there's something amazing around the corner. I don't
Yeah,
know
look
when.
for your highest excitement. That's what Q says is look for your highest excitement, and so that's what you try to do. And even in this lifetime, even if just think of whatever it is, your highest excitement, and that's what you want for yourself. That's what you want, and just keep focusing on that and be detailed, be specific, be very specific, you know. But I think it's time to end it there. I'm going to try to
Yeah.
get these segments. I'm not sure if I can get them all in one. I might be able to get them all in one episode. Either way, I'll do my best.
Okay. Yeah. If we can work them together, if not, you know, then put them into two different ones, or we can do three or
Yeah,
four
I
or
mean,
whatever
it
it
might
breaks
be
into.
four, but it might be part four, episode three, but it is what it is.
Yeah, as long as it
um,
recorded, that's the most important part because I think we had
yeah,
some
they're
difficulties.
recording. They all
That's
recorded.
good. Okay,
I
because I
haven't
think
played them back since.
our first one that we tried a while ago when it didn't record, I was like, oh no, you know.
That was
Uh,
sad. That was sad, but it was a
yeah,
learning
learn,
process.
learning curve, but you know, we're new to this, and you know, there's going to be some hiccups down the road, and what's meant to be will be. You know.
Technology, though, too. Technology it is what it is, and with the solar flares and the energy as high as it is, we are going to have glitchy technology. It
Yeah.
just that's how it is.
I know. Well, we're 5D, 12D beings, you know, or whatever
Yeah,
dimension beings we are,
trying to anchor that
trying to
energy
work on 3D technology, or you know, so it's
and
always going to
anchor
have
that
some kind
energy,
of,
though. My God.
yeah, I know.
Aside from everything else, aside from all the work that we do, we're freaking anchors for this 5D energy,
I
and that
know.
like
I think we're multidimensional beings. I think we're
we are.
3D, 4D, 5D, like every dimension of being, we encompass all of those dimensions all at the
Yep,
same time. Kind of like crystals. They we can see
yeah.
them in the physical world, we can hold them, but they resonate at such a high frequency that they're actually not
They're
even solid.
vibrating all the time. Yeah,
And they
and
yeah,
that's why I put them in my water. I love
that they're
putting
like
quartz in my
they're
water.
literally a
Mhm.
liquid that's
Yeah,
vibrating so fast that we think it's a solid,
but
or
it's not.
something along
Yeah,
those lines.
it's
And I think
true.
we're
Look
the
it up,
same
you
thing.
guys. Google
Yeah,
it.
we are
But
the
yeah,
same
it's true.
thing.
Yeah, and that's what we're becoming more of is that vibration. And that's why we vibrate. I've been feeling, and it's funny because I used to feel like my bed shaking when I was a kid, and I used to trip on it. Like I always thought like somebody was shaking my bed or something was shaking my bed, but it was literally my body vibrating.
Hmm.
It
Yeah. No,
was literally my body vibrating,
I have
nothing else.
circumstances where I'm like, whoa, what's going on? Somebody's touching me. You know?
Yeah, but we'll get into all that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like this is better because we just kind of had a discussion, but
Yeah.
I
I
feel
mean,
like
I think it's good when we just kind of go off topic. We can start on a topic and then
mm,
just kind of go with the flow and let it guide
yeah,
us and let the
because I
universe
do want to
energy
deep dive though. I
take
do want
us.
to deep dive into
Yes.
that, like the church one and like your NDE. That's important, and
Yeah. I definitely think I want to go into that soon.
understanding the biggest lesson of all is
Yeah.
that what the vengeful God doesn't exist. The
Yeah.
vengeful God was created to keep people under control, and if people
Yeah,
could
that's
just get past the idea of having a vengeful God
or like
controlling
that I'm
you,
a God. I can't stand it when somebody says I'm God fearing. I'm like, why? Why are you
don't be
God
fearing God. That's
fearing?
the worst thing
Why?
ever.
Like
God would never
that's
want you
like
to
a
fear God.
juxtaposition. That is a oxymoron if I've ever heard one.
That
God and fearing.
mhm.
It should be God loving. God and
That's
love are
what
synonymous, not
Cryon
God and
talked about.
fear.
Cryon
Yeah.
just talked about this the last Wednesday. He had Elizabeth April
Did
on
he?
there. Yeah, I
Oh, I'll
highly
have to listen to
recommend it if
that.
you haven't. Do it. It was his on the 7th. He did his
Mhm.
free Wednesday. And
Oh, I'll
so
have to go listen to
Elizabeth
that.
April was on there. Yeah, do it because he talks about that. Cryon talks about how God doesn't want you there. God fearing like that shouldn't exist. And it's because humans have humanized God and that's just so wrong and on so many levels. God is not a human.
Yeah.
Okay. God is not punishing. That's humans. God does not judge. That's humans.
Mm.
Okay. The, and hell doesn't exist. That's the other hard one for people to understand. It's a place that you create. to keep people under control so that
Hell
they
is
do what you
literally a
say.
place that I've been in this
In this
lifetime a
lifetime,
million
many times,
times.
unfortunately,
I've put
you
myself
know.
in a literal hell. For what reason? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
Other
last
than,
weekend, you
yeah,
guys, last weekend, I was like, I'm not exaggerating. I'm just gonna let y'all have it. Last weekend, I was basically praying that I would die. As sad as, and I laugh about it, but it's true. I literally was like, I have no reason to fucking be here. I don't want to be here. I just want to die. I want to die. And I just kept repeating that over and over, over and over, over and over because I'm obsessive also. And I have, OCD, I have ADHD, and I am on the autism spectrum. So I'm just repeating it over and over and over. I just want to die. I want to die. I want to die. I want to die. And obviously I'm saying this so my kids can't hear me and stuff, obviously, but you know, it was fucking horrible. I didn't even want to be here. I really thought I was gonna hurt myself because I kept thinking of really just grabbing something and hurting myself with it. And so I don't want anyone to think like this is, I ain't fucking perfect. I'm
yeah.
I'm just a human being trying to ascend the best of my ability, and I don't do it perfectly, you
No, and
know?
it's hard. This is not an easy road. This is
No,
this is not for the weak. Like I
this
said before,
they
this
they
has
call it
nothing
the
to do.
high path,
This
the
has nothing
high.
to do with being better than anybody. This has to do with
This is
strength and
nothing, you
experience.
guys.
We've had
This
to go
is
through lifetime after lifetime after lifetime to gain the
of
strength to be
shit
able to
and
stand this.
hell and
Because
initiation.
the hell we literally have to go through to sink down into to survive and to, because they talk about when Jesus died that he had to descend down into hell before he ascended into heaven. We're literally
This
living
is
that.
it. This
We're
is what we're
living
doing.
that now.
That's
We
how
are
he did it.
all Jesus incarnate
The 40
right
days and
now,
40 nights in the desert. That's what we're
and we
doing.
are all descending and going through that hell right
We're
now.
descending and ascending,
And
descending
yeah,
and ascending.
and we're constantly going back and forth, and it is
Mhm.
so treacherous. It is not fun,
But
um,
eventually,
but
the
it is
lowness,
worthwhile.
it's the
We,
end.
it's
We'll
for the
never be
strong
that low
ones.
again.
We really, 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 the ones that are awake and that are going through this,
Hmm.
this dissension and this ascension, dissension, ascension,
Yeah.
constantly going back and forth. It is
Up and
so
down and up and down.
painful,
It
and
is
then it is
very
so
painful.
amazing. It's painful and then it's amazing, painful and then amazing. And when we come up, it feels great and you want to stay there, but we know that we have to go back down because we have to
Not
free
forever. It's not
everyone.
forever.
No, and I know
But
there's an end to it, but
yeah, this isn't forever.
for
Hmm.
right now, this is where we're at.
This
This is
is
where
how we
I've
do it.
been. I've been going through the same thing where, a week ago, even last night, I was pacing the floors, having a massive anxiety attack because I can feel all of the collective energy. I can
Yeah, same.
feel it. And
Yeah.
it puts me into such a panic. And I feel like I'm in a box. I'm trapped in a box and I need to get out and I need
But
to
that's how
escape.
they're feeling. You got to understand
Yeah.
that's how they are feeling. It might not even be your
And
feelings that you're
I
feeling.
know.
So
And I
just
pick up on so
oof,
much of that and it puts me into a panic attack where I
same.
literally cannot lay down because I'm just pacing and I'm pacing and I'm like freaking out
Mhm.
and I'm going, where is this coming from? What is going on? When is this going to end? And I just pace until I can
I
fall
used to be
asleep.
a cutter. I mean, honestly, I was a cutter as a teen. And so if you are one of those that did cut too, I want you to know you're not alone because I almost did it again. I almost was at a point where fuck, I needed a release. And that's what cutting does. It gives you a release. And so it's like, do I really want to go back into that though? And I really
No,
don't. So I chose not to. I chose to not do that. Um, and I chose to just trust and to just pray and to my angels and call in my angels because I really honestly didn't know what to do. I was just
uh,
at an end.
I feel a real heaviness right now. And I just want to take a
Hmm.
second if we can just breathe,
Yeah, and just transmute it.
kind of just kind of let it go.
Hold space,
Let that
hold
go,
space for
recognize that
everyone
this
that's
feeling
feeling
is
that.
real, that this feeling is here and that it's real, and
It is real.
acknowledge that heaviness and allow it that space to be, and just recognize that I don't have to attach myself to it. I don't have to claim it. I can see it, and my awareness of it is all that is needed in this moment. My awareness of the heaviness and the density of all of this pain and all of the suffering is all that's necessary in this moment. It's just awareness, just looking. I don't need to judge it. I don't need to think about it. I don't need to feel it. I just need to see it. And I just need to recognize that it's there. And then I can let it go. And that's all that's necessary. And I feel a lightness now, and it's just kind of dissipating that heaviness, and that
Mhm.
vibration is just kind of receding for me, you know.
Yeah.
But sometimes I have to stop, and I don't need to judge it. I don't need to try to figure it out. I just need to see it, you know.
Yeah.
And that's sometimes all that's necessary is to recognize it and to bring the love. I think
And
that's
that's
our
what's
role.
hard about it too is the fact that we don't necessarily have people around us that will support us when we're going through that. We have
Yeah.
people that will pile shit on top of us when
Mhm.
we're literally drowning, like literally kick us or push us down with their
Yes.
foot
Will
while we're
punish
trying to come
us.
up for water,
People that will
you know?
punish us because they don't understand, and they will
Why?
point the
You know, what
finger.
the fuck?
It's
Why are they
programmed.
doing it?
It's
Literally
it's literally
drowning
programming to when somebody is hurting to hurt them more. And I don't understand why. I don't
or
understand
ignore
why
it.
we don't want to
Ignoring it
help. Yeah.
doesn't help.
Yeah. Or getting angry.
Ignoring is part of my triggers.
My
Being
husband sees
ignored.
me going through things, and his first response is to get angry and to tell me to stop. And I'm like,
Yeah.
do you think
Yeah.
that if I
Yep.
could stop, I would stop? Like, do
Yeah.
you
It's
think
like
that if I
telling
could
a
stop
person
then?
that's depressed to stop being sad.
Yeah, I saw that meme the other
Well,
day.
thank you. Oh, it's gonna help
Yeah,
me.
I saw that meme the other day. It had a demon flying out
What
of the
the
guy's head,
fuck?
and it said, "This is what it looks like when somebody tells me to stop being sad and I'm depressed."
No, that's not, you fucking piece of shit.
I know. It's like you can't tell somebody to calm down and then calm down. That just makes them
That
more
doesn't
upset.
work though,
You
but
know, we
honestly,
the programming that is in this world is it's meant to perpetuate the suffering.
it is.
Everything
Keep
is
it in
built
here.
to reward the slave system. Everything's meant to reward the
It is,
the
and let me just
pain.
explain that. I will explain that. If you are rewarded for being a part of the slave system, if you still play the COVID game, sorry, if you still play the C game here and do the testing and all of that, guess what? You get PEBT, which is pandemic EBT, which is SNAP, which is food benefits. But if you don't, you don't. You get nothing. You
Yeah,
get
I don't.
fucking nothing. So if you play the game, you get money. If you don't, you don't.
Yeah. Well, that's how everything works. You're rewarded based
It's just
on
apparent
your
now.
level of uh your
Whatever
level
your
of
level is.
bending to their whim. If you
Yeah,
comply, that's it. If you're willing to comply and allow the slave
questioning.
system to take over and take control, and you're willing to play the game, then you get rewarded. If you're not willing to play the game, you don't get rewarded because you're not playing. You only get rewarded if you're playing the game.
Yeah.
And
They never
you
made
only win when you're playing, and the only way to win is to lose.
the only way
This
to win is
is to
by, well,
give
selling
up
yourself.
all of your identity, give up all of your freedom,
Sell
all
your
of who
soul.
you are, give up all of your
Sell who you
power.
are.
That is the only way to win in the slave system, is to give
Yeah,
it all up and to become nothing, to become that little tiny ant that has no power. But
yeah.
when you
Carries
step
their
out of that
100%
matrix,
of its
when you
own
step out
weight.
of that programming and you gain it all back, and you realize that the only reason you lost it is because you're so powerful that you gave it away. That by saying I have no power, you gave yourself no power. But the second you say I have power, you take it all back. You
I
realize
have power, yeah.
you
Yeah.
never had nothing. You never were that little ant, that little nothing. We
Yeah.
can never be that unless we imagine ourselves that.
It's true.
We're only as small as we imagine ourselves to be, and at the same time, we're as big as we imagine ourselves to be. So I
Exactly.
acknowledge that
But
I'm
it's just don't be
everything.
grandiose. Yeah, we can get into that grandiose thinking of that we're bigger than the other person, even in spirituality, like even as a light worker or whatever, a star
Yeah.
seed, whatever you want to call
No,
it.
I don't mean
You
bigger
know,
than everybody. I mean
not
like
you, but like us.
that we are all connected in that way. That we are
Oh
so
yeah.
big because we are all one, and we
Yeah,
are
we
all the
are.
same source.
The
We
law of
are all
one,
God.
100%. We're
We
all
are
extensions
all
of God.
God right now in this moment,
Mhm.
all connected to one another, all connected to
We're
every
all
single being.
experiences of God, or
Yes.
what is it? Extensions of God having personal experiences.
Yes, we are,
and
and it's
there
all
is
the
no
same
judgment.
life. There is no past life, present life or future life. It's all happening now, and we're
All
all
one.
God experiencing this life through different eyes, through different experiences, all at the same time. All is one, and all
Yep.
is many in the one in the many. It's so big to think about, but when you get it, you get it. Like it
Yeah.
makes sense, but it's just so big. Like whoa. So
Truth. Truth.
anyway,
Truth.
I think we're just kind of going off on tangents and rambling at this point.
But
So
that's okay. That's
yeah.
okay. But yeah, so just a reminder that if anyone wants to reach out to us, it's going to be in the description box below.
Hmm.
We do readings, healings, art.
Yes, I do Reiki artwork. I can channel light codes and put together artwork that's healing on any specific chakras that somebody needs to work on. I also do Reiki sessions in person in the Atlanta area. If anybody wants to contact me through my links below.
Yep,
But I'm Gypsy Soul Surfer, also Becky Morgan. my my
absolutely.
many names, and then Joy, you've got your healing readings and things that you do too.
Yep, I'm on like you. I have a link tree. So, right, I have been building up my Patreon. I'm kind of, experimenting um, with that because I do have a Patreon. Um, so if anyone wants to support me, you can do that there. And I have different tiers, and I'm trying to figure out how I have. Yeah, just I'm experimenting. We'll just leave it there. So if you want to check it out, the links are below. I'm going to be updating it a lot, so don't.
Yeah, I've got
Oh,
I've got a Patreon
also,
too, but I don't have
yeah,
any I don't have any patrons just yet. So
yeah,
if
we're working
anybody
on that.
wants to get on there, I'd be more than happy to keep it updated. But as for
And
now,
and we can live stream from there now and everything. Like I went in, I was like, oh yeah, we can. So yeah, but there's all kinds of stuff that we can do in there now. Um, so that's amazing. And once we get Patreon patrons, then we will use
yeah,
our Patreon a lot more and do these episodes there. And it's just my guides also wanted to just remind all of you to just evolve. Evolve. If you feel like doing it one way, do it. If you feel like doing it a different way, do it. If you feel like changing what you want to do it. It's just following your intuition. I've changed my mind many, many times.
yeah.
Um,
Change directions, changed my
it's
mind, changed
just, yeah,
everything.
what I want to do, I have no idea, but I'm
I
just
know.
doing my best to follow my intuition and my inner guidance, and that's all we can do.
Yep. Just one moment at a time. And when we come to a fork in the road, whatever our gut says, go that direction. Sometimes we take the wrong path, and
Yep,
sometimes
yep,
we
yep.
think we took the wrong path, but it was actually the right path. And
It
we're
is.
condemning
Yep.
ourselves and beating ourselves up when in reality we needed to go that road. We needed
Yeah.
to go down that road because there
Yeah.
was a lesson we had to learn. So
And good or bad, it doesn't
don't ever
matter.
beat yourself up for
Yeah.
taking the wrong road or what you think is the wrong road,
What
because
you think is a
sometimes
wrong road.
it's
Yes.
where you're meant to be. We are
Yes.
always where we're meant to be. We are always learning. We are always growing. And as long
Just
as
be
there's
open.
breath in us and we are still putting one foot in front of the other, we're on the right path.
Yeah,
There's
just be
no
open.
wrong path as
Exactly.
long as it's ours.
Yes.
All right. Well,
Trust it.
I think that's good. And
I think we're
thank you all
good,
for being here
y'all.
today. I'm grateful to each and every
Thank you for
person.
listening.
Yeah, thank you.
And
We
we
do it for
will,
ourselves, but we do it for you too.
yeah, so we'll do this again here soon. And everybody, I hope everyone has a blessed day.
All right. I'll
All
talk to
right,
you
take
later, Joy.
care.
All right.
All right, talk soon. Bye.